What it do, y'all? Happy Sunday to everybody. Welcome to Nico Knows Wrestling. Before we get any further, make sure y'all hit that link and subscribe button. Hope y'all been doing good and everything. Been trying to get another video out, but it's been a busy week for me at work, and I just ain't really been having the time. But hope y'all doing good. Before we hop on in, this week I actually got to cover AEW, and that's what today's episode is going to be focused on. It's going to be on this Wednesday's Dynamite, which I actually just finished watching not too long ago. Hopped up Sunday, fell asleep pretty early last night. I didn't do too much. Shout out to Target too for the Outcast t-shirt. Yeah, but let me see what I got my notes here real fast. Man. Spark up a spokey while we're there. All right, y'all. So I just read through AEW Dynamite. It looked like it started off with Wardlow and Christian Cage in the ring. Wardlow came out, did a promo. I like when Wardlow's short to the point like that, and he's just kind of demanding on the mic, because they really messed his momentum up so many times with his pushes, and it's like he had to kind of start and stop his pushes. And I'm ready for the War Dog to get back on the roll and get back on that path of superstardom that I know he's capable of. And I think right now, him entering that storyline with Christian Cage is probably the best storyline he's had, honestly, since the MJF stuff. I didn't really care for the Hobbs stuff just because a lot of the extra stuff that came with it, a lot of the booking I didn't really care for. Playing hot potato with the TNT belt. I don't know if that belt's got a curse on it or so. Looked like the only person that hasn't succumbed to it was Samoa Joe. Maybe because he already had a belt, so he didn't get the full brunt of the curse. But honestly, I got to give a shout out to Christian too, because for me, even though he hadn't physically really been in the ring and everything, Christian is giving out some of the best promo work I feel of his career. I mean, that promo he spit last week, where he said, told Tony Schiavone he felt like a lot of his opponents seem to have daddy issues, and he told Wardlow to get over your daddy is not even famous. Awesome work from a heel. Awesome work. And I really liked how Luchasaurus looked standing there with him with his new gear. I didn't really care for the green shit. I think the red and black just works for him better. Just my opinion. But yeah, so that seems to be setting up their match for Double or Nothing, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be a big win for the War Dog. I feel he definitely come off with the win. And we go on ahead into the Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin team up, where they were facing off against Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. I thought that was a pretty solid match. I had really no complaints. I take that back. Before I even said that shit out of my mouth, I did have a complaint. You know what my complaint was? I didn't like that Big Bill is bumping for Darby and OC, and he's like damn near the size of both of them put together. I feel like Big Bill deserves a lot more. Just me personally. That's what I feel. I definitely think if he went back to WWE, he'd probably have a lot better booking, being just off his look. You know, he's been there before. He really sells really good. I mean, he was selling his ass off for some of the shit for Orange Cassidy, where I felt like he was selling too much almost. And I feel like him being at the firm hasn't really did anything for him. I mean, they brought the group back and introduced this group when MJF had made his return from being away for however long. And so they come back and they align with him, and then they don't align with him when they was trying to do that shit with his face run that I'm glad they kind of just went on ahead and stopped. It just didn't go anywhere. You know, he hasn't even had any angles outside of the shit with Hook. So yeah. That was it. I did like the double dive that him on that Darby and Orange Cassidy did. The shit was cool. The Boss Man slam that Big Bill did looked pretty damn rough. Shout out to Boss Man. R.I.P. Ray Trail. definitely say Lee Moriarty is a real technical guy, but I don't know, nothing just stands out with him for me. The hair did when he had that shit dyed pink or blonde, whatever highlighted color he chose for the week. I do think if he improved his physical a little bit, maybe got a little bit more bigger and cut and tone, probably would look a little bit more different in the ring too. Up next, I end up seeing FTR and Double J and Jay Lethal had a little altercation. They pushed Singh through the table, and then damn near beat Jay Lethal out of his clothes and his drawers and everything. Saw the debut of Karen Jarrett. Hopefully this is just a one-off with her. Not really looking forward to seeing Karen Jarrett on my TV. I'm sorry. I got enough of that in TNA some years ago. And on we go. And so then I saw we had Sheeta and Britt Baker, DMD, versus the Outcasts. That was a pretty solid match. Nothing really noteworthy for me to really speak on, really in a bad way or anything like that. I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed Toni Storm gracing my screen, I can tell you that. And she picked up the win, got the pin over Brick. So it's like, fuck yeah, I like that. And I think that's setting her up for a title shot at Jamie Hayter. I thought they were going to do a multi-tag women's match, but that doesn't seem to be the direction anymore. Either way, I'm cool with Hayter versus Storm. I know they're going to have a banger. And they both hot, so there's always that. But yeah, so the next match we get to looks like it was that Roderick Strong versus Chris Jericho. And this is another layer of the Adam Cole Chris Jericho feud that honestly I'm kind of ready to wrap up. A lot of Y2J shit just doesn't hit for me lately. I would much rather him move into a more managerial role at this point than seeing him have these high profile angles that never just seem to end. They always extend past their due date. You know, you got that food and you take too long to eat it, or that milk, you take too long to open up, and you finally do open it up, the shit's sour. That's sometimes Chris Jericho's angles. When they finally get to the blow-off match, it's like, should have did this sooner. But yeah, Roderick Strong ended up getting the win. I kind of felt they were going to fight all over the arena just because of the rules and everything else too. And then with the JS and Adam Cole both being banned, I just knew they were going to fight too right outside the arena. And then somebody, either the JS or Adam Cole, were going to be there. I really thought it was going to be the JS, but it turned out to be Adam Cole and helped Roderick Strong get a win over Chris Jericho, which was a little bit wacky because it was Roderick Strong's debut single match, and he kind of had to get help to win. So I don't know how that looks really from a booking sense or how strong that is supposed to make Roderick look, but I question that one. Definitely do. And then we get into Rush, or Roosh, as they like to say in AEW, versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Only issue I had with this, honestly, is Roosh taking the pin, which is why I didn't like the match when I first saw it, because I know they're building to the Four Pillars storyline and match at Double or Nothing. So it wasn't like Jack could take the loss, because it really would have hurt his momentum, especially with it being this close to the pay-per-view. But I don't like the fact that Roosh is always used to take these kind of L's, man. And Roosh is badass. You know, the dude can go, man. He's physical as shit. He got a great look, great mass on his entrance. And then, you know, he comes in for matches like these and where you kind of know he's going to lose. But, I mean, how we get there is always the story. And I will say Jungle Boy earned that win because he was fighting from underneath the entire time. Like, Rush was on his ass. You know, he started off just from the beginning throwing him into all the the post outside, all against the guardrail, just completely around the ring multiple times, which I like that. Really did like that. But eventually, Jungle Boy was able to somehow pull the win off, showing a lot of resiliency there and building on some momentum heading to Double or Nothing. So, no complaints there. Solid match. Like the aggressiveness of Rusev. Gotta state that again. And then we get to Jay White versus Ricky Starks. And so that there was a match that's kind of been building since the debut of Jay White, when he came in and kind of interrupted that match that Juice Robinson was supposed to have against Jay White. And Juice Robinson, not against Jay White, against Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson had a match last week on Dynamite. And it was okay. It was honestly a good match. Ricky ended up getting the win. This match here tonight was a lot to process, just because I thought it was pretty solid. I just felt like it should have been maybe saved for Double or Nothing too. Definitely thought it should have been saved for Double or Nothing. The intensity was definitely there. They were going at it constantly. Ricky ended up getting real close to the W and got that spear on Jay White. But there's Juice Robinson rearing his head again, and ended up getting hit with a chair, which I didn't really care for the chair shot, because once Ricky kind of ducked it and got the chair in his possession, you see Juice Robinson just kind of jump and wait to get hit with the chair, which is like, why would you jump and kind of wait to get hit with a chair? Why wouldn't you just, I don't know. It just looked like he was just waiting on it. And, it looked too telegraphed. But it was a pretty good match. I definitely think they're going to redo things at Double or Nothing. Ricky ended up hitting Jay White and taking a disqualification. I didn't see that. But I think that extends the feud, so have no problem with that finish at all. I wish they would have maybe did a tag match, but I think they've already done that on Rampage with Shawn Spears in a match they ended up losing. So maybe they just don't want to get anyone else involved. I think Jay White in this angle is slowly getting lost in the shuffle. And it's messed up because Ricky had a lot of momentum coming out of that match against MJF and the feud with Jericho after he went over. So I was wondering what he was going to do. And yeah, kind of dropped the ball on this one, TK. We definitely say that. And Jay White, to me, just isn't standing out. The only reason I say that, because he has, everybody that he would logically probably be in a feud with, they've already kind of got something going. So it just kind of stuck in limbo, and this kind of all he has at the moment. And finally, the show ends with the Blackpool Combat Club coming out as Don Callis, the Invisible Hand. He came out and he gave a speech about pretty much him turning on Kenny Omega and why he did it, which, I honestly saw it coming a long time ago. If you look back, I want to say a couple weeks ago, when the Bucks had first got injured or so, and they were hauled off in the ambulance. He tells Kenny then, they're big boys, they'll be okay. And you can kind of see the seeds being planted there, where he was just kind of get Kenny away from everybody else, and only listen to what he says. But the term ended up happening during the steel cage match against Jon Moxley. He hit Kenny with a screwdriver, and this week he comes out. He has all the security, and Kenny comes out and slowly, he's working his way through the security guards. But who appears? The Blackpool Combat Club, who had already taken out the Bucks a little bit early in the night, and they come out and they start really putting them hands and fists on Kenny Omega. And who shows up as they get in the ring and start taunting Kenny Omega? The Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks come out with all kind of plunder, as they like to say, in a trash can filled with weapons. You see Kenny starts to pick something up, and Excalibur It's building up the numbers game. You know, the Elite only has 3, and the Blackpool Combat Club still has the advantage. And then who comes from out of nowhere? Cowboy shit. And so I was definitely liking the re-debut of Adam Hangman Page with the eye patch on too, looking pretty badass. And he came out and they put boots to asses to the Blackpool Combat Club, and they announced that they are going to participate in Anarchy in the Arena. I'm looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that. May 28 at Double or Nothing. So hopefully that'll be a good blow-off match. And I liked it, honestly, seeing the Elite reunite with Hangman. It's been a long way coming full circle to get that moment back together. Especially considering, Hangman beat Kenny for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. So I'm looking forward to it. All in all, I definitely give it out of 5 stars. I give it a 4. But that was just my recap of AEW Dynamite this week. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm probably going to do one more video, maybe recapping NXT or so from this past week. Trying to get in the habit of more regularly recording and watching stuff and taking notes when I do. So when I do a review video, it's not that bad. I'm getting a camera, and I just actually purchased a laptop. So we're going to have some graphics and everything to go along with some of the future videos as we getting started and everything. I definitely appreciate all the love of anybody that watch and shares their love of wrestling like me. So once again, you guys, I hope you all take it easy. We'll get y'all these too, and y'all be easy.